Hi everybody. So, back to the grindstone. Yesterday we spoke about the upcoming coronation and the gossip and facts surrounding it. It was a day and a half, and along with all the work and driving, load shedding is back, and the fairy godmother who miraculously repaired all the power stations during the national shutdown has moved back into her cupboard or wherever she keeps herself. So I ended up posting yesterday's video at 1 a.m. and went to sleep at about 2 a.m. and woke up just after 6 a.m. with my batteries overcharged, and I jumped up like my soul was invaded by the Energizer Bunny. So it is likely that I'm going to crash at some point during the day. But yesterday I told you about a parcel I collected, so today I'm quickly going to share some of the contents with you. My paternal grandmother, my father's mother, passed away from meningitis when he was only 14 years old. She was a teacher and loved books, and my father inherited her love of books and music. As a child, I loved my grandmother's books. Man, oh man, did I love those books. Sometimes I think to my parents' annoyance, because obviously those books had emotional value for my father, and little fingers could not always page properly and so on. It did not stop though, and as I grew older I continued to love and use those books, and as the week progresses I'll show you my stash and what I received now a couple of years after my father's death. Yes, I could finally afford to bring it all the way to the Western Cape from where it was stored for me. Anyway, the first two books I want to show you are these. The one is the Bible story by the Home University bookshelf, and this edition was published in 1925. As a child, I was in love with the illustrations, drawings, and artwork depicted in this book. In love and absolutely fascinated. I would sometimes just page through it to look at the pictures. I did it as a 5-year-old, as an 18-year-old, and yesterday I found that I am still intrigued by it. It just gives me a whole different feel and perspective over Bible stories. The second book I want to show you is this one, The Book of the Home. I have no idea when it was published, but I'm going to guess that it was also somewhere in the 1920s. It is obviously one of a series, and I also have no idea where the others are or whether my grandmother even had any of the others. This one is volume 4 and has an introduction written by Lady Nora Bentinck and was printed in Great Britain by the Gresham Publishing Company. Now I went and looked it up because as always I'm curious, and Lady Nora was a writer and the wife of Robert Charles Bentinck and daughter of the 3rd Earl of Gainsborough. She studied music and literature at Dresden, and she even sang solos as a soprano. Altogether a very talented woman. She was born in 1881 and passed away in 1939. What makes this book so valuable is that it contains such a vast range of subjects, from gardening to keeping domestic animals, to arts and crafts, to maintaining a motor car, and hilariously in today's standards, going wireless in the home, meaning in this instance being able to receive a radio station. And therefore the book describes the use of a receiving apparatus and a crystal detector set. Today so many of this is actually funny, but also amazing as to how much of the advice in the book is indeed still relevant and useful. And again, I love the fine details in the illustrations, just love it. Anyway, it is all too much, and I get far too carried away that I can actually show you all of it in one video. So what I'll do is I'll scatter it throughout the week, because indeed we have to stay with the latest on the royal family, don't we? That is what we're here for after all. Now guys, I'm in a right royal state because I think in a minute way I'm getting a tiny speck of a taste of what the royal family is experiencing. Everyone following the royal family and the Harkles are up in arms about something. Each one has his or her priorities, something which worries or upsets him or her more than other things. And reading my DMs last night, I found it amazing that almost everyone had something else they wanted to talk about, something else bothering them. Some are concerned about Charles's health, some are concerned about his reign, some feel he is still too political, others adore him and think he'll do great. Some are more worried about the Harkle children, others just want to talk about Meghan, some have empathy for Harry, and others hate him. I've not seen anything like this before. Usually we start off having a topic for a week or a few days at least. But now it is utter chaos and all over the place. And I honestly don't know whether the egg came before the chicken or vice versa. But I think that today I want to calm down a little and spend a couple of minutes and talk about William and Catherine a little. Look, I often said this. I don't really have a dog in this fight, other than being a citizen of a Commonwealth country and having been a royal follower all my life. And therefore people cannot understand that I can sometimes criticize someone like William or even Catherine and still love, respect and adore them. But I do, and it is almost like telling my own child or family member that a certain style or outfit does not suit them. It does not mean you stop loving them just because you don't like what they're wearing on that specific day. Now, I've been wondering about Catherine's pet project, the early years development project, but I have not had the time to look into it and was sort of feeling that it is likely, mostly, some new age wokery. And I'm so sick of it that I allowed my grandson not to answer one of the questions worth 15 marks in one of his exam papers. A question on societal gender norms. And let me rather not go into the details of the actual question, because it will have me ranting and raving for another hour. Anyway, I finally decided to do a bit of research and see what Catherine's campaign is all about. So in June 2021, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, launched the Royal Foundation Centre for Early Childhood, which aims to research and raise awareness of the impact of the first years of a child's life, shaping who she or he will become in adulthood, and thus what society will become as a whole. I read through some of Catherine's speeches in search of blatant wokery and undue influence, and I'm grateful to report that I could not find any. The world and scientists agree with Catherine that those years are important, hence referring to it as the formative years. I like how Catherine combines the emotional, the esoterical, and the practical, because in my book, talking only goes so far. At some point, you have to stop talking and start doing. Catherine had recently launched the Shaping Us campaign, which includes a 90-second clay animation film, which shows a little girl named Layla developing from pregnancy to the age of 5. The film appeared at Piccadilly Circus and in cinemas across the United Kingdom. Catherine also teamed up with the Huffington Post to launch the mental health campaign, Young Minds Matter. She is the patron and supporter of the children's mental health charity Place to be. They are also looking into the cost, availability and access of young children to care and early learning facilities. So altogether, a valuable endeavour and research. It is very clear that Catherine is taking this very seriously, and her staff now says that Catherine sees this as her life's work and will likely be involved in it in some shape or form for the rest of her life. And I think we saw just how serious she indeed is about this when she chose to attend a meeting and the launch of a business task force for early childhood in London. Catherine and her team were successful in attracting and including businesses like Unilever, IKEA, NatWest and Lego as business leaders and members in her campaign. Okay, so Prince William was likewise engaged in a meeting as president of the Earthshot Prize before leaving for Poland, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. But what is obvious is how Catherine and William will handle their role as king and queen when the time comes. I predict that they will cut down significantly on all these almost frivolous ceremonies. I mean, we love the regalia, the prancing and capes and chains and feathers, but in an ever-increasingly difficult environment, what exactly is the point of it all? So, in a way, I think the fact that neither William nor Catherine attended the Victorian Order service, but instead chose to attend the separate meetings, actually once again proves what I just said. I think it is clear that William and Catherine will approach the regency with a more down-to-earth and practical approach, more hands-on and solution-based, rather than the airy-fairy word salad and nice gestures way of the past. William is a no-nonsense type of person, impatient and a practical shooter, and it may surprise you, but so is Catherine. A few people are still fooled by her initial shyness and lack of confidence, but Catherine is no pushover. She's not the shy pushover, the waity Katie. Oh no. From what I hear, she knows her own mind and will stick up for herself when necessary. She is apparently very measured and even-keeled, but can also be stubborn and does have a temper, although she does control and manage it beautifully and likely a little better than her husband. As she grows into her role and her confidence grows daily, it is said that Catherine is fast becoming a force to be reckoned with and is ideally suited as William's partner and the future queen. Some people are saying that William and Catherine are not ready to be king and queen as their own children are still so young, and it would be best if they could raise their kids first. Well, I don't agree. Their children are all at school. They moved to Windsor so their children can be day scholars, and somehow Catherine and William, or Catherine or William, do manage to support their children in their school endeavours and activities. I think they are ready, and the sooner the better. They will bring the fun and the class and style and decorum back to the monarchy. They are young-looking. Catherine displays true diplomacy and softness, and William, his slight stubbornness, none of which, in their case, will hurt or destroy the monarchy. Their overall appearance of quiet duty and good work strategy with a drop of glamour will save them and keep them beloved and protected. So guys, all of this, obviously, in my opinion. So, okay guys, a plain old chatting narrative. I have a few aces up my sleeve, but for now, let's leave it here, and I'll see you again soon. As in, a few hours soon. So until we meet again on that video, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.